Hello, everyone. I'm Abhishek. I'm your host for GTM Voice podcast. I will take you through proven B2B go-to-marketing strategies and tactics. In order to do this, we'll be speaking with experts who have done this for years. And today I have a very special guest joining me for this podcast. Welcome, Sanjay.
Hey Abhishek, appreciate you having me.
I'll give you a brief intro for Sanjay, but let him introduce for himself. So Sanjay Shah is the director of Visionary Digital Studios. They are a fast-growing video marketing agency based in Australia. He helps B2B tech companies get more high-value clients with video, content, and social media marketing. Sanjay, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. And I know that I did a really short intro, but I think I'll just let you introduce yourself to the audience.
No, that was beautiful. That was perfect and concise. So essentially 7 years ago, we started as a video agency and literally just a small animation studio. And that's all we did. But over time, I realized that just producing one video for a business doesn't really create any impact. So over the last few years, we've developed into a full-scale B2B marketing agency. We still have that core of producing really good videos, but then we make sure that we actually create impact and actually create results using digital marketing and digital strategy.
Awesome, Sanjay. Sanjay, so I was doing a bit of research before getting on to this call, and I saw that you were talking a lot about the 4 pillars of B2B marketing. Could you just tell our audience what that is and what we can learn from that?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so we call it our 4-layer approach, and I feel like it's quite similar to what many B2B marketers would be doing, but because we're an agency, we work with so many clients, we get right inside so many businesses. We've added a lot of kind of complexity or a lot of techniques on top of what a standard B2B marketing funnel looks like. So from a high level, the 4-layer approach, essentially that first layer is just trying to show a short video to a big audience, say an audience of about 40,000 to 80,000 people, if you're talking in LinkedIn terms. We want to show them a short video and just see who bites. So the way that we do it is we'll show short 40-second clips, and then we'll see who watches for 25%, so for 10 seconds of that clip. And then we can move them from that first layer into layer 2, where they start seeing much longer form content and much more conversion heavy content. Are you with me so far? Yeah, so we actually implement this on all platforms, especially LinkedIn ads for B2B. But we also have B2B clients running on Facebook ads and even Google ads as well. Similar sorts of principles. So you want to show a short piece of content first, find out who in that audience is actually interested. You can move them into a layer 2 audience, which is a lot smaller, but you can show them a lot more frequent content and a lot more long form content to get the most out of your budget.
All right. And that's layer number 1 and layer number 2. And what is 3 and 4?
Beautiful. Yeah. So I feel like most marketers kind of stop at that layer 1 and layer 2, especially in agency world. So at layer 2, you've got the longer form content designed to convert someone into a demo or convert someone onto that initial call. They become a lead because they've seen a couple of pieces of content, especially because they've seen a couple of pieces of long form content. By the time they get onto that initial call or initial demo, they are a qualified lead and they've kind of self-selected themselves. But then layer 3 kicks in. I think this is really important. In B2B, we all know this, sales cycles often 3 to 9 months. Sometimes they go over years. So you need to make sure that while they're in that sales cycle, they're seeing your content frequently. Really important that they're seeing all sorts of different types of content covering different angles, different features, especially differentiators of your service, so that while they're going through your sales process, while they're going through the other 2 sales processes or the other 2 proposals they're mandated to evaluate, they're always seeing your content, they're always being educated by your brand. So that kind of gives you a bit of an edge up over the competitors that may have done the layer 1 and layer 2, got them in as a lead, but forgotten to keep marketing to them while they're in that sales process. So that's layer 3. if you've done that well, then you deliver a great sales process. Maybe it runs over 3 months, maybe it runs over 9 months. They've seen so much of your content that eventually they really have no other option but to choose you because you've educated them so much. Then kicks in layer 4. And I feel like this is where the most possible value is in B2B, but I think a lot of marketers forget about this. And this is what I'm really excited about. With B2B companies, usually most of the lifetime value comes after that sale is made. So it's so important that that marketing engine doesn't stop. So when they're in layer 4, they're already customers. So you don't have to be so produced with the videos that you produce, or you don't have to be so overly high production value with the content you're producing, but it needs to be frequent, it needs to be continuous, and it needs to be very familiar. So with layer 4 marketing, we like to feature our delivery team, or we like to feature people in the office, or, what's happening around the office, so that current customers are being educated continually by us. They're seeing our brand in their newsfeed. They're seeing our people in their newsfeed. So they're more likely to stay. They're more likely to upsell to other services. So that's kind of a quick high-level overview of those 4 layers.
Let me see if I can summarize this. So, like, layer 1 is take 60 to 80,000 audience and run videos, and then 25%, whoever has watched 25%, move them to the next layer of the funnel, show them a little more targeted ads. And then layer 3 is when, you do different kinds of ads for different persona. And then layer 4, you do these layer 4 after you sell. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got that right. I think I can clarify that a bit, but you got that right. So layer 3, that's when they're in your CRM, they're in the sales process. So they're going to start seeing longer form content about why you're different, why you're unique. Layer 4, they're already customers. So they're marked as closed won in your CRM. So now you can show your delivery team. Now you can talk about your product features. Now you can teach them how to best use your services.
Okay, this is wonderful. So I think I kind of get an understanding that video is super powerful across the funnel. How do you use video across the funnel, and what kind of an impact have you seen for your clients through the years?
Yeah, so we started just producing, one video for a client, and that's about it. And what we noticed is there's not really many results. Often, if we produce a really good quality, high quality video, hand it over to a customer, they put it on their website, and then don't really see any ROI. So we realized that you've really got to use video skillfully, and you've got to use it across the whole funnel. So as a summary to the way we use video specifically, the first layer, the cold audience, we tend to show them shorter videos, and more than anything, it's just to allow them to self-select as to whether they're interested in our work. So on LinkedIn or Facebook, we like to make those videos 40 seconds. Usually what we'll do is we'll produce a beautiful 2-minute video explaining a service, explaining why you're different, explaining how you address pain points. To layer 1, we'll show a 40-second cut of that video. We know that if they've watched 10 seconds of that video, that they're engaged. We know that there's something that's caught their attention about our service. So that's when we start showing them layer 2 ads. We show them the full 2-minute long videos. Maybe we'll show different versions of those videos. That 2-minute video is designed to kind of engage them a little bit more, because they already know our brand. They're much more likely to linger and watch more of that video. Then when it comes to layers 3 and 4, we use much longer form content, and we'll feature our salespeople in that layer 3 content as well. So because they're engaged in your sales process, they're much more likely to watch a 3, 4, 5 minute, even up to 10-minute video, because they're evaluating your proposal. They're really trying to learn. Then in phase 4, in layer 4, once they're already customers, that's when we start to use a bit more kind of off the cuff, lower sort of production value content that's a bit more authentic. As a good example, Abhishek, this type of podcast is something that we'll show to our layer 4 audience. So they already know who you are. They're already working with you. They're already learning from you. So they're much more likely to watch, 20, 30 minute piece of content, and they recognize you on their feeds. So they appreciate seeing your delivery team a lot more.
So, Sanjay, this is a question that I have. What message do you have for marketers who think that attention spans have gotten like really, really short. And we're talking about showing a 10, 20, 30-minute video.
I love this. I get this a lot. So yes, attention spans are reducing significantly. It's very easy to do a Google search, and you can see that the average customer has an 8-second attention span, less than a goldfish. Or you can even do the research on videos, and the average person doesn't watch more than 2 minutes, if that, of a video, and that's 100% right. But those are really generic rules, and generally designed for B2C audiences. So if you really think about a B2B audience, if someone is making a 5 or 6 figure purchase, they will watch a long video. If they're really interested to work with you and they've got to make that big decision with a board of decision makers, they've got to decide between 3 proposals. Of course, they're going to sit through a 2-minute video. They'll sit through a 10-minute video if they're making a decision that's 5 or 6 figures.
That's awesome, Sanjay. I think that just dispels the myth that most of us hold that hey, you can't make long form videos. It's generally not watched, and I think you've made it super clear that if they are going to buy a 5 or 6 figure deal, they are going to sit through some of this content.
I love it, and I want to, based on your comments, I want to clarify or add to that a little bit. In that, you notice when I was talking through the 4-layer framework, the deeper down they are in that funnel, as they get to layer 2, the video gets a little bit longer. When they get to layer 3, the video gets longer again because they're more engaged, they know us, they're learning from us. By the time they get to layer 4, they're hungry for information. If you're delivering a great service, part of that service is educating your audience and educating your customers, teaching them how to get the most value out of your service. So in layer 4, you can really show them long form videos. Layer 3, while they're in your sales cycle, anything longer than 2 minutes, they will consume.
Awesome, Sanjay. That's a really useful insight. And I think for those of us who believe that attention spans have gotten shorter, I think this is a very good eye opener for us. All right, moving on. So I think we've talked some really good stuff about video, but I think I'm sure there must have been cases where it might not have worked for some of your clients. What were your observations when video or this layered approach actually didn't work, and what do you think happened?
Yeah, absolutely. The 4-layer approach isn't applicable for every type of business, and even video isn't applicable for every type of business. So, as an example, if you're trying to sell products off the newsfeed through a e-com store, you don't really need to have long videos. You don't need to have a 4-layer approach. If you've got a simple service, if you're a plumber, for example, you can put an ad on the newsfeed, or you can put a Google ad that leads to a landing page that books a call and makes a sale. So I don't think every business should use video. I think it's overkill for a lot, if not most businesses. I feel like if you're trying to inspire someone, a decision maker, to make a 5, 6, even 7-figure deal, then video is a way that you can explain so much in so little time. But the ROI has to be worth it. And I think I always say that minimum 10K deals is worthy of a video funnel. Preferably more like 30, 40K plus deals are worthy of a video funnel.
All right. Sanjay, so you've worked with a lot of clients, and I'm sure video may have worked in some clients and may not have worked in some. Can you just walk us through where video is applicable, the 4-layer approach is applicable, and where it shouldn't be actually used?
Yeah, that's an awesome question, Abhishek, because it's definitely not applicable for all companies, and all companies shouldn't be using videos. Sometimes it's not appropriate. In the early days of my company, we were guilty or more inexperienced in convincing companies to use video when it wasn't appropriate. So we've learned the lessons the hard way. So the truth is, if you're doing lower ticket deals, there's just not enough value to be creating polished, high quality videos. Maybe you want to create smaller videos, and maybe you want to have a smaller scale marketing funnel, but you don't need a beautifully polished video put into a 4-layer framework strategy or anything like that. So the way that I judge it when I'm working with prospects is I think the minimum deal size should be 10K or above if you want to produce
Yes.
videos and then lay it over a 4-layer framework, but preferably more like 30K plus. And the reason is because if you've got a lower ticket product, you're much better off spending your money on ad spend directly rather than spending your money on producing videos in combination with the ad spend, right? So as a really good example, if you're a company like a plumber, for example, or you've got smaller ticket deals, then there's really no need to create 4 layers and create all sorts of videos in every layer and all that sort of thing. It's absolute overkill. But when you're a B2B company and you're looking to inspire decision makers to make 30K plus deals, to make 6 and 7 figure deals, then you really need a polished funnel that takes them through a buyer's journey and kind of takes them from not knowing anything about you to really feeling your value proposition.
Awesome, Sanjay. I think we're all clear that I think in high ticket deals, I think video is a great addition. But if you're doing smaller ticket sizes, I think the 4-layer approach may not be the right thing for you.
Totally, yeah. And I guess I didn't answer your other question. I want to be a bit kind of transparent and authentic where we've made mistakes in the past. I think the biggest mistake that we were making in the early days was trying to show a cold audience a long 2-minute video and then wondering why they weren't responsive. And the reason is because you know that your product can help that cold audience, but they've got 1,000 other brands competing for their attention space. So you don't want to show them a 2-minute video. You can't expect them to engage with a long 2-minute narrative, right? And we made some bad mistakes in the early days where we tried to show these long videos, and then we failed to build up a good remarketing audience because it's difficult to get a cold audience to engage with 30 seconds of video. But we really switched down to that shorter form, sort of 40-second style video for the cold audience, and then moved them through a funnel. That's when the longer form videos worked really well.
All right, Sanjay, I think everybody makes mistakes, but I think it's the good news is you survived, and I think that's what matters. And I think I kind of get a feeling that the deeper you go into the funnel, the longer the video gets. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely that. Yeah, absolutely that. So the deeper they get in the funnel, the more engaged they are with your brand, the more value exchange there is between you and them. They're giving you more revenue, you're giving them a lot more service. So when you have a deeper relationship, even if it's just that they've been into your sales cycle and had one conversation with your salesperson, they're much more likely to engage with longer form video. In fact, they want longer form video. They want you to teach them, educate them, inform them.
Awesome, Sanjay. I think so. I mean, if someone's really just starting out with this 4-layer approach, and they want to show a truly cold audience, assuming that they've got a target account list of 30,000 people, and they're trying to show an absolute cold audience a short video, what size would you recommend the video should be? Like, should it be like 20, 30 seconds? Should it be like 40 seconds like you mentioned? Or is there a formula there?
Yeah, so there's no one size fits all formula. I think all B2B marketers understand that. But as a good sort of general rule that a B2B marketer could then apply to their own situation, we like to do it in, first of all, produce one video, really good quality, a narrative explaining what your organization does, what pain points you address, and more than anything, the 1 or 2 reasons why you're different from the other competitors that are almost definitely in the decision makers' newsfeed. We like to produce that to be about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Once you've got that video, that's then a core piece of content that works across all of your marketing and sales functions for that product. But you want to shorten that video down to, say, 40 seconds for a cold audience. So usually we like to take the intro of that video, which tends to be about the decision maker's pain points, and maybe go into a bit of an explanation of what the service is, but cut it off at around 40 seconds. Then you can put it in front of a cold audience on either LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads or something similar, and you can get the platform to tell you who's watched 25% of that video. So who's shown some interest. Once they've shown that interest, you move them into layer 2, and that's when you can start showing them different versions of that longer 90-second to 2-minute video, which really, like, they've already built that digital relationship with you. Now you can start engaging them and asking them.
Awesome, Sanjay. I think it almost looks like you're asking most B2B marketing companies to become media companies, like Netflix kind of a companies. Did I get that right? I mean, is that what you're advising?
Yes and no. Yes and no. So that's the old Gary Vee adage, and I think all of us have heard it so many times, right? But I think that is also a little bit unrealistic for a lot of B2B companies. I would say yes, definitely, become a media company. But the truth is, 90% of B2B companies just don't have the capacity, don't have the time, don't have the people to become a media company, and don't have the budget. Even if they work within an agency like ours, we don't usually suggest that they produce 50 videos one a week because it's just not practical. But I think your sentiment is right there. So you can have a good cadence where perhaps you produce one really good core piece of video content that explains your service, maybe once a year. And then you can have a cadence where every month you have a longer form podcast, kind of similar to this idea. Get your experts, get your SMEs, record a bit of a long form episode, and then you can cut that up into pieces. I think a lot of B2B marketers understand that. A lot of B2B marketers know how to do that. I think that's a really, really good key. Once you've got the content, though, you've got to skillfully layer it over that 4-layer framework.
All right, that's nice. I think that's good to hear. So, in the go-to-market motion, Sanjay, I mean, what role do you think video is playing today? I mean, especially for B2B companies that have high ticket sizes, let's just say 30K and above. What kind of role is video playing? And has it always been looked at as a smaller version of what you can do, but is it actually becoming more and more important now?
I think it's becoming more and more important, but I think a lot of B2B companies are still slow to respond. Everyone kind of has this feeling that video is the way to go, but when you don't know an agency that you trust, or when you don't have the people in-house, then it's really difficult to start creating videos because it takes a year of practice, or a year of putting systems and processes and things like that together. So I think if you're a company that has no videos at all, I think it's almost mandatory to start with just 1 or 2 videos that explain your service, break it down for a decision maker who's almost always a lot less technical than you are in your niche. So explain out what you do. And then the second video that's almost mandatory is why you're different from your top 2 or 3 competitors. I think you've got to be able to get that message across really powerfully in, say, 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And the only way to do that properly, the only way to do that powerfully is through a well-crafted video.
Awesome, Sanjay. I think this is a message for a lot of B2B marketers out there. I think, if you haven't gotten started on video, I think definitely, I think it's time that you consider video as an important asset. I think, like Sanjay mentioned, you should have at least 2 assets. And if you're down under in Australia and you're listening to this, I think definitely check out Visionary Digital Studios.
Thank you. Appreciate the plug.
Yeah. All right. And you mentioned that, LinkedIn ads is so much better than other ads, especially when it comes to B2B for high ticket sizes. Like, can you just elaborate a little bit more on that? And let's just dig a little deeper into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So in my agency, we are platform agnostic. We've got really good case studies and really good current clients on all the major platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, Google ads, and LinkedIn ads. Haven't quite got to TikTok yet, but you know what I mean. So I have no bias. I have no interest in trying to make people use the platform that I use or anything like that. So we've tried all platforms. The reason I prefer and almost always recommend LinkedIn ads for B2B high ticket specifically is actually because the lead quality is so much better. So what we found, we actually run my agency's company's ads on both platforms so we can compare. What we find is when you're running Facebook ads, your lead cost is almost half as much as LinkedIn, so significantly cheaper. But the quality of leads on LinkedIn is 4 to 5 times better. And when you're thinking about more than just lead generation, when you're thinking about a whole business or a 4-layer framework, then every time you bring in a poor quality lead, that's very, very costly because you need sales resources to chase them down. When they don't show up to a call, that's 15 minutes of an expensive salesperson's time that's been wasted, and you got to give them 20 follow-up calls over the next 4 months, and that sort of thing. Whereas with LinkedIn, you can be very targeted about who you put your content in front of. So you can put your content in front of company sizes by employee. So essentially anyone who comes through the funnel, that they can afford your services. You can even target by revenue. So that's another layer of knowing that, okay, once I'm speaking to them, it's going to be a valuable conversation. Even if they don't buy, it's going to be a really good connection. So it's worth spending, 3 or 4 times extra to acquire a lead on LinkedIn, because on the back end, you make so much more profit and you save so much operational cost. Now, I think a lot of people who don't have experience in LinkedIn ads, a lot of marketers that don't have experience with LinkedIn ads, they kind of don't try LinkedIn because they know that cost of clicks more expensive. They know that cost of leads more expensive, but they don't consider how much extra ROI you get off the back of really good qualified leads.
That's true, Sanjay. I think it's very important that B2B marketers don't send bad leads to sales, and I think don't earn the wrath of sales team. And like that, I think you've got to be friends with sales. I think that's kind of how it works. I think sending bad
Absolutely.
leads.
Yeah, I love that. I exactly how you said it is. I totally agree. I think there's always a little bit of friction between sales and marketing, and I think one of the biggest reasons for that is because marketing, they're often incentivized to bring in poor quality leads. They're told to bring in as many leads as possible. So unconsciously, they don't even realize it. But if you lower the quality of leads, they're much cheaper, and you hit your KPIs, but sales can't close them, and then there's a bit of friction there. But when you start bringing really high quality leads, then you are the hero of the sales team.
Exactly. I think we want to be the best friend of sales team, and I think help them really close faster.
100%.
That's something that we are seeing more and more often is like sales and marketing coming together as one revenue team, and I think trying to close deals faster. That's not something that we kind of do internally, and I think we suggest that to a lot of our clients too. But
I love that. Yeah, I love that you're thinking like that. I feel like that's a bit of a new mindset that's coming into B2B marketing. I believe that not enough B2B marketers, especially in agency world, realize this yet or even consider it, because they're kind of incentivized for bringing in leads without thinking about the client sales team or without thinking about revenue. I love that you guys are thinking about it.
okay, that's good that we're thinking in the right direction then.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. And so Sanjay, let's just shift gears a little bit from ads. We've been talking about ads, and let's just shift gears to organic. Your agency does a lot of content marketing too, and I want to ask you this question: like, what is the importance of content marketing as a go-to-market motion in the era of ChatGPT, and what are you seeing that's happening around you?
I love it. Yeah. So we all know that content marketing is really important. Everyone listening to the podcast is a B2B marketer or similar. But what I'm seeing is that, say 3 years ago, we had great organic content everywhere across all of our social platforms, and it used to bring in leads and it used to bring in sales. It was great. It was like a gold rush at the time. But in the last few years, and especially now in the last year or two, we almost get no leads from our organic marketing. And so what I'm seeing is that organic is really important and working really well for our current audience. So as soon as someone has converted through our lead funnel or our client's lead funnel, and they're in the CRM, then they're following our content, and then they see our organic posts, they engage with it, and they love it. But we're seeing the cold audience doesn't really react so much, and very rarely do we get leads from our organic content that way. So when it comes to organic, I think really, really important. What we've shifted to your organic is about your current audience only. Make sure your insights are for that layer 3 or layer 4 audience that is actually following your work and really wants to consume it. ChatGPT, beautiful invention and kind of beautiful addition to marketing in general. I think that actually makes our work as content marketers even more important. So I think the rise of ChatGPT, we've already all seen it. We're going to see it more and more. Everyone's trying to automate their content. And for the first time, releasing content at scale is accessible to almost everyone. That'll continue over the next year. But what's happening, I think all of us can see it, is there's a significant rise of really low quality content. It's rubbish, essentially, recycled from ChatGPT. The people posting it often aren't experienced content marketers. So they're recycling ChatGPT. They're posting it thinking, oh, wow, I'm a great marketer. I'm releasing, a piece of content every day. But the truth is the substance of that content is just recycled. So there's nothing creative about it. There's nothing different about it. It's exactly the same as the, 100 other people that are doing the same strategy in their niche. So I think I feel as B2B marketers, as content marketers, producing really powerful, profound, insightful content based on really deep experience is going to be so much more valuable, because you'll be the one in 1,000 people that's really doing this based on experience and insight rather than recycling the same thing as everyone else. I'm interested whether you agree or not.
Oh no, I mean we've seen like tons and tons of content that is being put out, and I think it's just insane the kind of low quality that is being put out these days. And I think I'm pretty sure, like, even if they do end up ranking today, I think I'm pretty sure they're going to get hit when high quality content actually does take over. In a way,
Totally.
I think what we're seeing is, I think, ChatGPT has actually thrown the light on content creation as an important piece that you should do. And now, because people have actually started creating, the high quality content actually gets more importance. So I think it's just a progression like any other platform, I guess.
I'm with you, and I totally agree. But I'm being really, really deliberate. I'm sure you understand this, and a lot of marketers know this sort of thing. Like when a new technology arises in a niche, the last people to embrace and understand the power of that technology is that niche. So, when ChatGPT arises in content marketing, I think for a lot of us marketers, we immediately just assume that it's worthless, and our ways are better, because all of our investment, all of our last few years have been invested in producing manual content. So I'm being very specific in keeping my mind open, using it. I'm quite proficient with ChatGPT. I'm yet to find it in almost any application in content marketing. I'm yet to find it useful when it comes to producing high level content. But I'm making sure I keep my mind open, and maybe there's a time when the AI takes over and it's going to be better marketers than us. I'll meet you right there at the forefront of ChatGPT then.
You're being super smart there, Sanjay. I think you understand that the world can change at any point, and I think it's really smart that you're keeping your eyes and ears open to new ideas.
Appreciate it.
So here's a roundup, Sanjay. I think I want to ask you this question, like, as a roundup of video content, ads, and everything put together. Like, what are the most common mistakes you think GTM teams are doing these days? I think, what do you think they can do to avoid this?
I think the most common mistakes are, apart from not using video at all, and then kind of like floundering with trying to use other content, which text-based content or image-based content simply can't be as effective, because it's just got a lot less content, a lot less communicated in it. I think that's the first one, but I guess everyone probably realized that was going to be my perspective anyway. I think the biggest mistake when it comes to using video is not understanding your audience deeply enough and specifically enough. So if you don't understand your audience on a really deep, specific, granular level, and then produce video content that speaks to that depth, then essentially your message becomes diluted. Your message becomes the same as every other company in your niche. So, if you're producing a video that says, we produce great relationships with all of our clients, or if you're producing a video that says, we get better results than anyone, then, your messaging is exactly the same as 90% of companies who say the exact same thing in almost every niche. So you got to be really deep, really specific, and make sure that your video really hits the mark on that exact pain point in the exact way it's running through your decision maker's mind.
All right. I think understanding your audience, I think some of the basics that most marketers, I mean, some of us, including me, at times have not done well, is understanding the customers really well. And that requires us to go talk to the sales team and like understand, hey, what's happening? What are they saying? And what's resonating and what's not. And I think that's something most of us should do. Talk to sales, understand what's happening, and use those insights into the marketing.
I love it. And what kind of struck me as you said that is it's amazing how almost every epoch of marketing, every era of marketing, every time marketing is upgraded, still the most important thing is that foundation of understanding your audience at such a deep and specific level. And that applied back in the early days when we were writing thousands and thousands of letters to the mass population. It still applies now when you're crafting videos for LinkedIn.
That's awesome, Sanjay. I think this has been a pleasure. We'll just end up with like one short feature. Well, I'll just ask you like 5 rapid fire questions, and I think you'll just have to like answer it like really, really super short, like maybe like, just like less than 10-15 seconds, if that is okay.
Love it. Yeah. Let me just get loose. All right, go for it.
All right. All right. The top 3 platforms that you like to run ads on, B2B ads on.
LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, Google ads. I feel very boring saying that, but that's how it is. I actually wanted to add something. I got a really helpful insight that I think can help the audience. I think one thing that everyone could implement that can really create a massive impact that a lot of marketers aren't seeing is running video or even just content ads to your current customers. And rather than running ads to get conversions with a conversion objective, run your ads to get video views if you got video, or to get engagement only on the feed. And so your audience is consuming the content on the feed because you're not specifically optimizing for conversions. Your content tends to get shown significantly more. And what will happen is your CRM won't really show results. They won't be converting through landing pages, but you'll notice month by month, your current clients reaching out for more services, old clients reaching out for new services, investors reaching out, opportunities coming from everywhere. I wanted to put that nugget in. Sorry to ruin your flow. Let's go back to the quick 5 questions.
All right. And that's actually pretty useful. Can I just like double click on that?
Yeah, please do. It's a really profound insight that we've implemented in our business and all of our customers over the last few months, and we're seeing really good results. So I wanted to make sure I said that. Please double click.
Right. So, Sanjay, you mentioned that, run video ads to your own customers and like keep doing this for a while. And I think that helps you expand the accounts. And I think, how long, have you done this? And I think what are the kind of results that you see?
So we've been doing it for 6 months across all of our platforms, but also across all of our clients. And repeatedly, we see quite profound results. So essentially, just by having the content in front of an audience that's already engaged, that already likes you and knows you and trusts you, just by having the content in front of them, and because it's significantly cheaper to tell LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads to optimize for video views and just put your videos in front of people when they're consuming the content on the feed. They don't need to click through to a landing page or anything like that. If you've got a video that goes for 2 minutes, you can provide as much insight as a whole landing page, or really, really long form social media posts. And just by having that content in front of your audience almost every day with such a small budget, it brings up opportunities when they're talking about anything around your service. They feel like, oh, well, you're at the top of mind. We should bring them in and ask them. Or anytime they need a service that's similar to yours, then you're naturally the first person they reach out to because they're seeing you on your newsfeed every day and they're being educated by your content.
And we're not specifically only talking about videos, right? You also mentioned social media posts.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So what we found is, obviously, we started with videos because that's our specific expertise. But then what we found is with our organic long form content, if we put that into both LinkedIn ads and Facebook ads, and we put some ad spend behind it, only at our current customers, so people that are in our CRM marked as closed won, and then we put a little bit of ad spend on it, not much. It doesn't cost much to put your content in front of 1,000 people a day, as long as you're not asking them to click through to a landing page. You're literally just asking them to watch a video on the feed or consume a long form post on the feed. Normal image ads are fine, carousel ads are fine, or videos, either way, as long as they're just consuming on the feed. You don't really see form sign-ins because they're consuming it on the feed. But what you'll see in your CRM is that people are reaching out to you randomly, your customers, while you're on a call. They're asking you about different services because they've read something on their newsfeed from your company. We're noticing almost unanimous results across our client base with that. So I think that's something that every company should try. And it's such a low budget idea that testing it's a no-brainer.
That's an amazing insight, Sanjay. So I think just to clarify, right? I think the goal there is to not get them to a landing page, not get them to fill a form, not get them to do any action. It's just show up there and just be right there, and that's about it. Correct?
Correct. Yeah. So it's important that your content has profound insight in it. You want it to be long form. You want it to be very different from anything else that they are seeing from your competitors. I guess that's the fundamentals of marketing. But assuming people listening to your podcast, we're B2B marketers, I'm assuming most of them already have that down pat. So if you can just put those insights in front of your audience in the place where they want to consume it, they don't want to click through to a landing page. Like you lose such a big proportion of your audience when you ask them to click through to a landing page. The platform also deprioritizes your content when you're clicking through to a landing page. But when you're asking them to consume it on the feed, it takes them, 20 seconds to read through a long form post. Maybe it takes 30 seconds to 2 minutes to watch your video, but they can do that on the train. They can do that anywhere. They don't have the commitment of clicking through to a landing page. That has you making impressions in their mind and really giving tangible value to them almost every day if you've got enough content, and that leads to lifelong customers and more sales, and we're seeing measurable results across our.
Seems like a really, really, really smart way to land and expand. And I think, this is something I haven't heard before, because I think we as marketers, we tend to only focus on how to convert. But I think the post-conversion event that you mentioned about, I think this seems like a super insight. And I think most of the listeners and even us, I think would like to give it a shot.
I love that. I think it's like a beautiful circular segue. I didn't intend this. I don't think you did, but so that is that's the 4-layer framework. So you're not just thinking about layer 1 and layer 2, which every marketing agency and every marketer thinks about. You're thinking about layer 3 and layer 4, where the most possible value is to your customer if you're an agency, or to the business if you're in-house.
Awesome, Sanjay. Okay, can I get back to the rapid fire?
Yeah, let's do it.
So what are you using video ads mostly for? New biz, or expansion, or for renewal?
So for visionary and across our client base, we're using them in all 4 layers. And all of the above. I'm going to say the most use is surprisingly layer 4. So converting current customers into new business. What we realize is that the majority of that customer lifetime value is after that initial first sale is made. So, that's where you can make the best impact, and you don't have all that overhead with a cold audience. You have the overhead of having to run them through a long sales process with an expensive sales team, and then onboard them and then build trust. But with your layer 4 current customers, you already have that trust. You're already given them so much value. You don't need a long sales process anymore, and you know them so well that you can deliver so much more value than you can with a new client.
All right, that's insightful.
Sorry about that. That was meant to be a quick fire.
No, that was really good. And then that was very interesting. Okay. All right. So, what are you planning to do with the ad budgets in the next year? Are you trying to increase? Are you trying to maintain? Or are you trying to cut your ad budgets?
I like to gradually increase and continually increase. We're all marketers at heart. So as a marketer, part of my success is increasing ad budgets, not only in my agency, but also in our clients. So I want to increase. I don't have a set strategy, to be honest, in terms of what layer I want to increase in. We have been really focused on layer 4 for the last, year or two now. Even before we've been implementing this for clients, and I feel like we've got that really, really on point. 2 years ago we were just selling one video. These days we're selling full service to almost every client. So yeah, sorry, I got carried away there. I'm going to say I don't know. I'll keep adjusting based on results.
What are your 3 key elements for a successful GTM motion?
Okay, so number 1, client avatar, understand your audience so profoundly, significantly more than they do themselves, mandatory, and have it documented in their words, number 1. Number 2, obviously I'm going to say video, so at least 1, preferably 2, really precise videos explaining your service on your decision makers' terms, and 1 video explaining why you're different to your top few competitors. And then third element is a way of distribution, preferably LinkedIn ads if you're doing deals at a 30K or more. If not,
let me ask you this question. Which 3 channels are your favorite?
Yeah. So I'm going to be super boring here, but just going to be real. LinkedIn ads is my favorite. Second favorite is Facebook/Insta. Put them into one category. And then third favorite's Google. Sorry, I can't be a little bit unique with that one. Those are just my favorites.
Thanks, Sanjay, for making it to this podcast. And I think we super enjoyed the 4-layer approach to B2B marketing. And I think there's a ton of insight here on how to use videos to actually close high value deals. And I think most of you would be surprised at how you can actually use videos to actually close more value from the same customers that you already have. And I think that's something that, I've learned a lot from your layer 4 framework, Sanjay. Thanks for being a guest on this podcast. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much, Abhishek. You're a great interviewer. I really enjoyed it, and hope everyone got a lot of value. Much love for the B2B marketing community.